Okay. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my little corner of the internet where I talk about whatever crafty thing I happen to be up to. Today is a knitting and crochet update. I've got a nice little pile of things to show. So yeah, let's get into it. So I hope everybody had a good last couple weeks. Last week was spring break for our kids here in Alaska. So my son was home for the last week. We did a couple fun things and then kind of chilled at home too, because he had things that he wanted to do that he hasn't been able to get done with his school schedule. So and I guess in the last couple weeks I've done a lot of sewing. I actually have another sewing pattern that I'm going to print, or that I'm going to cut out of fabric soon. I hope you can't hear that. They're plowing the parking lot outside, so hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, let's see. What? Okay, so most of my knitting time this week has gone into working on my 2 test knits. So in my last podcast, I talked about how I had a test knit that I was going to start. Well, I kind of signed up for another one, which ends the exact same time that the other test knit ends. I don't know why, but every time I see a test knit that I love, I sign up for it. And I don't know how, but there are multiple ones that I love that end at the same time. In November, is it October, November? Last year, I had 4 test knits that I was doing that ended at the same time. Thankfully, I got them all done, and I will definitely get all these done. We'll talk about it in a second. Excuse me. But first, let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is my city top from Tori Yu. It was a finish in last week's episode, and I've paired it with a it's hard to see, a high-waisted maxi skirt courtesy of Amazon. And then I'm wearing a turquoise necklace that my dad made for me, and some beautiful earrings that I got from a lady in Fairbanks, Alaska the last summer, I think. Also, this, because I got a couple confusion questions about this. This is a heart rate variable monitor. So that's all it is. It just monitors my heart rate and my variables. Okay, so let's see, we'll go into finishes. So my first finish of the week is a hat for my dad. I would put it on, but I just did my hair, and after this is over, I have to go pick up my son from school and then pick up my husband, and then we're going on date night. So I'm not going to mess up my hair. But this is the beanie that I knit for my dad. I talked about it in my last podcast, but I always knit about every year, knit a new hat for my boys, my husband, my son, my dad. And I've knit a lot of heavyweight beanies, but not really very many fingering weight beanies. So I did a more lightweight beanie. This is still wool. It'll still be warm, but it'll be more for spring, fall, and apologize. notifications. Spring, fall, cold summer nights. But I absolutely love it. This yarn turned out beautifully. I do not have the ball band for this, but it is woolen vinyl, and her in her music album songs base. And this is Werewolves of London. I love that song. There's no pattern for this. I just cast it on a simple beanie, knit, did the normal beanie decreases, and finished off. Not too much information on that, but I absolutely love it. And I did try it on the other day. It's super warm, but lightweight, so it'll be nice. Okay, my next finish is a crochet project, finally. So I was scrolling through Pinterest, as I do most nights before bed, and I found some pictures of like boho hippie style purses. So I went through and I found a pattern for one. This pattern is the Street Fair boho purse from Make and Do Crew. There's a free version of it on her website, but you can also buy a PDF version. I just used the free version, and the only thing that I followed from the actual pattern was the circular pieces for the front and the back. And then from there, I kind of went on my own. I connected it how I wanted to, added fringe, which was in the pattern, but the fringe, I added beads to the fringe, some braids, if I could find it, some braids, a bunch of different funny beads, fun beads, not funny. And then I only did a singular strap. She has it set for 2 straps. I opted against that. And then I added a little extra fringe. Excuse me. A little extra fringe to the ends. And then I added a little button for keeping it closed. I was going to line the inside, but honestly, for what I want to carry in it, it doesn't need to be lined. It'll just be fun to use. So the yarn that I used for this is K&C cotton in the color Golden Coast. This is a Joann's exclusive, and so I don't think we're gonna be able to get it anymore. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I used 2. I think I used 2 of these 100-gram balls. I had extra left over, of course, but it turned out so good. I love it. These beads came from a multi-pack from Michael's quite a while ago. And then this button came out of my vintage button collection. So pretty. I have no idea where it came from, how old it is. It just came off of a lot of vintage buttons that I bought off of eBay. Okay, so is that all I needed to say about those? Yes. So my first test knit, the one that I was talking about starting in the last podcast, is the Avalon sweater from Maiden Knitwear. It is, I'll put a picture right here. It is so pretty. I absolutely love it. And as soon as I saw it, I knew that I needed to knit it. So that's why I signed up for the test knit. So I am using, let's see, I have a pile of my ball bands so that I didn't have to go into the bag and grab them. So my main color is Knit Picks Fingering, or Knit Picks Stroll Fingering, sorry, the light, in the color Sapphire Heather. And the accent color that I'm using is La Bien-Aimée in their Twist Nouveau base in the color Yellow Brick Road. I had picked out this is the Sapphire Heather. I had picked out this yarn off of a Knit Picks sale. They did a blue sale for blue yarn, and I picked this off, and then I asked Instagram because I wasn't sure what color I wanted to go with, and that is, I got a couple suggestions of like a brown or a yellow, and I really like the idea of a yellow. This is a little bit more of a green yellow, but I absolutely love it, and I love the way this is coming out. This is what I have so far. It looks kind of different. So first, look at the absolutely stunning ribbing. I can't remember what this is called. It's not an actual cable. I don't remember what it's called. I have no idea. I don't know. But it looks like this currently. So I finished the body, which has waist shaping because it's supposed to be a nice fitted top with negative ease. I actually picked a size smaller than I normally would just so that I could get the negative ease. And then it's got these little tiny straps, but that is because the sleeves will be added on here, and then the front is going to be done in this color, this pattern, and it's more of a square scoop neck. I'm not good at explaining things. Sorry. I will have put a picture so you'll know what I'm talking about. But I absolutely love this. I had a heck of a time. I started it, finished the ribbing in like a day, and then started knitting on the body, and I did not want to put it down. And I ended up not putting it down until it was done. Well, at least until the straps were done, and I had Kitchener stitched the straps together. The next thing I'm going to do is pick up the live stitches for the front and the back that are on, and then there's picking up stitches along the straps for the collar ribbing. Sorry, my brain is not 100% with me today, but I love it. I cannot wait to have this. I think it would be absolutely adorable with a maxi skirt and just this. It's beautiful. Okay, my next whip is the other test knit that popped up on my timeline. It was on, it's not on Pinterest. That's where I see all my test knits. And I have test knit for the, did I say, I can't remember if I said this is by Maiden Knitwear. I'm pretty sure I said it. Anyways, the second test knit is a cardigan, and I've been wanting to knit cardigans. I've knit one before, and mainly because I don't like working back and forth, or I used to not like it. I actually don't mind it now, and especially when it's in pattern. So Stitching Simply, who I have test knit before, I test knit her Warm Vanilla Sugar sweater back in November. Actually, it was one of the ones that I had when I had 4 test knits that had to be done at the same time. She posted the Aspen cardigan test knit, and I absolutely loved it, and I knew I had the perfect yarn for it. So I am using, let's see if I can get, there we go, Barocco Vintage in the color Aurora. So Barocco Vintage is a 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. It's a rather inexpensive yarn. I appreciate that because I have a lot of expensive hobbies. So when I can find something that's cheap, it's nice. So I started, and I'm working on the back panel. You start at the back panel, you work your way down to under the armpit, and then you pick up stitches and work the front. And I have absolutely been loving this one as well, except for this morning when I hadn't had my coffee yet and I made a mistake. So there's a mistake in this. We'll talk about it in a second. So there is a lot of this beautiful moss stitch, which I love how squishy this is. And then there are cables on either side of a center panel of cables, and it is absolutely turning out beautifully. So the mistake that I made this morning, I was doing a cable round where you cross these cables, and I accidentally crossed this one. It's not a big deal. I did it on both sides. The center cable, this is only supposed to be done every other cable row from these ones. It was honestly my mistake. It was just, I hadn't had coffee yet, and I should not have been knitting, especially on something complicated. If it had been anything stuck in it, it would have been fine, but because I was doing cables, I messed up. So on my next round, I'll have to drop these 6 stitches down to pass before this cable turn that I did. And it's only like 2 rows back. I noticed that it was a mistake when I was coming back on the wrong side row, but I was not going to fix it until I was awake. So I will just drop those stitches down, re-knit them back up. Not a big deal. Fix it and get back on this one. I have gotten to the point where, except for this morning, I know the pattern. So other than keeping track of which row I'm on, I am not like paying attention to the charts anymore because I have them memorized. And I am so looking forward to wearing this. Like I said, the moss stitch is super squishy, and I love the cables. They're turning out beautiful, especially in this color. I think that's all I've got to say about this. I said the name of the pattern, the name of the designer, the yarn. So I think I'm good. All right. So my next project is another crochet project. And this one is another one that doesn't have a pattern. I was scrolling through Instagram. Nope. I was scrolling through Pinterest, and I saw some totally awesome granny stitch, granny square, boho / hippie style dresses, and I wanted to make one. And I saw this one. This is going to be very hard to show off. And there was a paid for pattern on Etsy. There's also a free pattern on Ravelry for this granny dress, but honestly, it's really not that hard. If you've ever made a granny square, it's super easy. You start with these granny squares, make them big enough to go around your arm and however deep you want the chest to be. And then it's just a granny square in the round all the way down. So the yarn I'm using for this is Karen Big Cakes. This is an acrylic yarn from Michaels. And I'm using the colorway Rainbow Jellies. I saw this at Michaels, and I wanted a dress that very much screamed boho / hippie. And I think this is working out really well. It is super cute, full of rainbows. I love it. There is a black stripe of single crochet right here at around the waist. And I'm planning to do a trim around here. And on the back, I'm going to connect it in the back just so that it doesn't like fall off the shoulders. And then I'm sure I will do a black edging around the bottom and the sleeves. I haven't completely decided. But the black that I'm using is another Karen. I actually got this on clearance ages ago, $3.99. This is one of the Karen Pantone like bundles where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 balls of yarn bundled together. They had a lot of them that were in like gradients. This one was just plain black, so I've just been using this mostly because I am trying to use up stash yarn. And so I grabbed this one out. Kind of sucks because there's pretty small balls. I don't remember how big each one is. I don't know if it says. Yeah, it doesn't say. But so I keep having to add on yarn. I had to add on a second ball just to finish off the row that I was on this one, which sucked. So now I have extra ends. I haven't weaved in ends yet. But yeah, I am loving it. I actually got to about here and ran out of yarn, and because I had 2 balls of this rainbow jelly, and I thought it was enough. And then I looked in the mirror and it didn't even cover my butt. So, I grabbed it. I had to go to Michael's, grab another skein, and obviously this has got holes in it. I plan to wear it with a black slip, and I wanted it to be longer than the slip dress, and the slip dress goes down to, I think, right above my knees. So I wanted it to be longer, and I have quite a bit of yarn. I actually left it in the cake, but this morning I balled it up because it had collapsed in on itself and was kind of making a mess. So I don't know how much more I'm going to do. I'm going to probably try it on, see what I like, see if I want it to go further or what, and then decide. But I would like to use as much of this ball as possible. I have a huge tub of scrap yarn, and I'd like to not add a huge ball to it. So I might add fringe to the sleeves. I'm not sure. This isn't really going to be a super practical wear every day dress. It's more of a I want to have it to wear once, twice, occasionally. And that's it. So that's all I've got to show today. I have really been focusing on my 2 test knits, and sorry, I'm in a spinny chair and I like to so I'm probably going to cast on something. I have about an hour before I have to go pick up my son and get my husband. Then we drop my son off for his youth group, and then my husband and I go out to our date night dinner. I usually bring some knitting. I don't have anything that's small and that's simple, so I'll probably cast on something. I'm not entirely sure what. I guess I will scroll through Ravelry, see if I can find something that I like that's a 1 skein simple pattern. We'll see if I find it. If I don't, it's not that big of a deal. So my plans for the next couple weeks are to finish my granny dress, which my granny dress, my hippie granny dress, whatever. I don't know what I should call it, but it's cute. I want to finish that dress, and then I gotta work on my chest knits, and I'm hoping that I will have the Avalon sweater done by next podcast in 2 weeks, because there's really not that much left to do. And as much as I love it and I don't want to put it down, I think that once I pick it up, I will be working away at it. And then obviously my Aspen cardigan, I'm gonna fix it. I'll probably wait until tomorrow to fix the cable and the cables that I messed up, and then get back to work on that. I don't really have any other plans for the next few weeks. Just to enjoy my knitting, my crochet, whatever I happen to be up to. I want to enjoy it. So that's all I've got today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.